Good day. Very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining this meditation experience, this reflection, and creativity in this life and perhaps other lives has always been very central for me. And I think it's central for everyone. We're actually quite creative beings in every capacity. I remember when I was in university and the engineering department was very close, and so we would meet these engineers and it became very clear to me, no one would think of engineering as an artistic or creative endeavor, but it became very clear that these were very creative thinkers. So creativity is huge. Every day we're asked to be creative. Issues come up, maybe problems, decisions come up, and we have to find a way to respond. Sometimes I think people want to run away, but to respond, and that's going to require creativity. And there was a time in history when classic creative people, artists, poets, dancers, um, they had a very interesting relationship with their creativity. They definitely saw themselves as instruments. And there was a lot of silence in the creative process. So what that meant, there wasn't a lot of the noise of mine or attachment. They were very surrendered. In fact, they felt it was the only way to have creativity was they had to have quiet or silence so they could receive inspiration. So it's not that they really thought and used all sorts of mechanisms, but they just became quiet so they could receive, be an instrument or a conductor to receive that inspiration and then to honor that inspiration. They also had to be very careful. And I've always really appreciated that. There's never the feeling I created something, but was I able to receive that inspiration? And so the role of silence in creativity, again, in responding to situations or making decisions, the role of silence, literally feeling it is the paintbrush or the pen or the instrument that we use to create with. So let's go inside and experiment into our inner studio and see if we can experiment. Sitting comfortably and quietly. So hopefully the body is not experiencing any tension, but is still very alert, very engaged, very accurately aligned. And as I pay attention to placing the body, that helps me to focus my mind. So I need to just simply shift that focus from the body to the self. The being in this body, operating from behind the forehead. The soul, the living being, a tiny spark of life. That relationship I have with the body is already creative. I am creating life in this body through my presence. And every moment I am guiding the body to create actions, create thoughts, create words, constantly creating. The quality of what I create, inspire through the body, depends completely on the state I am in. So if I want to create a peaceful world through my own activity, And obviously, I would need to be in a peaceful state. Many things might interfere in my creative activity to the point they could even become destructive, go in the completely opposite direction I was hoping for. Rather than trying to support, cooperate with someone, I might actually be adding difficulties to their life. Again, it depends on the state I am in. There is one particular creative tool that will 100% of the time work. That is, create something that's very beautiful and benevolent. 100% of the time. It's foolproof. And that creative tool is true or pure silence. This isn't a physical silence where there simply is no noise. And certainly isn't an avoiding silence where I run away or escape. It is a silence where the only sound, all that is present, is the experience of what is sacred, timeless, eternal. This pure silence has a very specific vibration, very refined, elevated energy. And I can create it on demand by going into the experience of what is sacred, timeless, eternal. Instant silence. I create the thought, I am a soul. This is sacred, timeless, and eternal. I am always a soul. And this is the very essence of life, very sacred. I am a soul, a spiritual being. From creating the thought, I start to journey into creating the experience, feeling it. Starting to feel I am detaching from so much in the experience of realizing I'm a soul. I'm not the body. I'm not those relationships or roles or responsibilities. Those are all temporary. They come and go. I am not rejecting them. I'm just releasing the illusion that they are permanent, eternal like me. They're not. I travel through time, and eventually, one by one, they will all be left behind, including the body. The truth does set me free. And in that letting go, the realization nothing physical is ever mine, I start to notice my inner world becoming more and more simple, cool, calm, peaceful, silent. The only sound that remains is the sweet experience of being a soul. I am light, I am free, blissful, content, and very, very valuable. I am, after all, life itself. Through this experience, feeling my vibration shift, elevate, become much more subtle. And in this moment, I am holding the paintbrush of that very creative essence, silence, holding it in the hands of my mind and heart. I don't have to direct it at any particular outcome or situation or person. Just being in that state, I become the paintbrush of silence. Whatever I think or speak or do will be colored by that very subtle, sacred vibration, and therefore create the beauty of subtle and sacred outcomes. Adding spirituality, pure intentions to our world by becoming that paintbrush of silence. Some might even say becoming an instrument for the divine. Moving through the world, leaving a trail of this beautiful vibration, silence. So others in that moment will feel touched by peace and calm and light, not knowing where it came from, but awakening what is silent, sacred, spiritual in them, just for a moment. Constantly going back inside, dipping the tip of that paintbrush into remembering over and over in such a meaningful way. I am a soul, this wondrous spiritual being, with such depth of peace and even love. This is who I am. My mind is free. No worries, no fears, none of that noise. Just the sweetness of experiencing what is sacred. Painting my world with the vibration of silence.